Good evening, Shitbox Nation. This is your captain speaking. Come to you live from Shitbox Nation headquarters here. It's really nothing to really talk about, nothing special. But it's mine. So anyway, this is the Shitbox Blazer that I keep talking about that probably nobody's interested in. But hey, it's mine. I'm happy with it. Fuck it. So this is my 91 two-door, two-wheel drive S10 Blazer. Had about 98,000 original miles when I got it. Was a salvage that I bought as a roller with no engine, no transmission. I was hitting the ass end. As you can see the wave in the tailgate there still. And I bent the frame horns, bent the frame hitch, and I put an engine in it, transmission in it, got it running, got it to pass state inspection. That's actually a fiberglass roll pan there that Jeff Tribbett from S10 Addictions gave me for free to help get me going and help me to get past the state inspection. And man, this thing is just a flaming pile of shit right now. It needs a lot of love. So last year we got this thing running. I ended up ditching the factory EFI intake, which is right here. It was originally the factory LT1 350 second gen small block that had this thing on it. And the guy that did all the work on the Blazer that was teaching me along the way did an absolutely amazing job with everything. Yeah, he did a lot of work, did a really good job at it, very passionate about it. He was a mentor to me. I learned more from him in 2 months than most people will probably learn in years doing this shit by themselves. So I want you guys to know that all the fuckery you're about to see is 100% not his. That is strictly mine. So right now you can look and see just the fucking wiring mess on this thing. We got plug wires all over the fucking place, zip tied out of the way. Reason being is with these upswept LT1 manifolds here, no matter how I ran the plug wires, they were going to lay on it and burn up. So in order to get this thing running so I could play with it last year while the weather was still good, I zip tied everything out of the way. So this thing still has the factory opti on it down here. You can see where I cut the wires. That's going to get pulled out. I'm going to get an opti delete plate and put on there. This thing's probably leaking oil. This whole thing's leaking oil horribly. It's part of the reason why we're doing this video. This video is going to be Shitbox Nation's adventure, getting this thing to not be such a flaming piece of shit. Get it to where it's drivable. Get it to where it's not just a fucking mess thrown together and halfway running. And try to get this thing at least drivable. I can take it anywhere I want, not worry about it. Yeah, last year, me and Damien St. Pierre took this thing to Edgewater, which is our local track here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we were able to squeeze out a 13.3 in the quarter mile at 100 mile per hour with a 1.8 60 foot with a 308 stock rear end in it with an Auburn posi unit on these wheels and tires right here. These are ET Sportsmen's. They're 26 inches tall and they're 10 inches wide. It's a 275 60/15, I believe. Yep. So this is with an absolute shit tune. The carburetor was all kinds of dicked up. Had a 26-28 primary pump nozzle, which is small for what this is. I mean, this thing is just absolutely bullshit on top of more bullshit. So I'm going to be fixing this mess, all this wiring. I'm going to be making prop rod for this thing because the original prop rod went here on the core support. And the core support was cut out, TIG welded and painted, and everything else to fit a factory, I think it's a half-ton Chevy pickup radiator instead of a little dinky stock S10 radiator. So that's going to be one of the bigger projects. I got a wire kit and a tool came in the mail, so I can go through and build me a proper set of wires to go underneath and back around the back of the block and up over to the top of the cap. All this wiring here is going to get recut, lengthened, cleaned up, reloomed, get all this looking nice. The biggest reason I started this project, I should say the reclamation project on this thing to get it back where it needs to be, is I put a Ford 8.8 rear end in this thing. Had a 373 limited slip differential and disc brakes, and it was a really easy swap to do on this thing. I mean, hell, I could have probably done it by myself with the right tools, knowing what I know now. Probably about a 2-hour swap, if not less. Real easy to do. The only big issue is the center chunk sits off to the passenger side enough that I had to remove part of my exhaust to get it to fit. And then you have this issue where your wheels and tires are sticking out because I had the wrong back spacing for these wheels. So that's something else to tackle later on. Got the transmission in last year. Everything's working good. Took it to the track, beat up on it, drove around town a lot. Everything's working really good. I put this rear end in, took it out, beat it up. Took the old lady out for a couple of dates. She loves this thing more than I do, probably. And everything was great. The day after taking her out on the date night, I took it up the hill over here on the highway, going to my dad's house, being real easy on it, and all of a sudden, second and third gear are gone. We replaced the modulator. Governor checks out. This transmission's either lost a seal, or I'm going to open it up and it's going to piss unicorn blood. All kinds of nice, pretty little sparkles is what I'm guessing, which I haven't even bothered to do that yet. So, the biggest things on this needs fixed is the transmission needs to come out. Needs either gone through or replaced. I need to clean up all this wiring. I've got a massive oil leak on this thing. I mean, it's coming from on the bottom of this pan, which I'll show you real quick if I can get down here with my big old fat ass. Bottom of this pan actually has some bungs welded to it. Stock pan. Now those bungs popcorned up a little bit, rusted through, and started leaking like a son of a bitch. And you can see where we just did a half-ass hack patch job so I can take it racing one time at the track. And did alright. It lasted for about 5 minutes. Got done with the track, and now it's leaking like there's no tomorrow. And there's no room to get this pan out the way it sits. So the engine does have to come out to fix that. So we're fixing that. It's leaking there, and it's also leaking at the distributor gasket, which is probably my fault from fucking with it so much. So it's leaking bad enough that it just needs to come out. Needs fixed, put back together properly. Wiring needs fixed. That dipstick tube for the transmission needs moved because I'm probably going to end up shocking the shit out of myself on that. Don't ask me how I know this. I'm not telling. So for right now, first thing I'm going to be doing is dropping the drive shaft in this. Pulling the drive shaft, which also is cobbled together. I don't want to show you. It's pretty bad. I got a longer slip yoke because my the drive shaft was maybe about 2 inches too short, so I got a longer slip yoke to put in there. It works. It's not beat up. And surprisingly enough, I don't have any crazy driveline vibrations. But I want to get it done right. I want to get it to where I'm not embarrassed to show people my Blazer. I don't want to have it to where I keep the hood popped and hope they don't climb underneath it to check things out. Because this thing's actually pretty solid for being up here in the Rust Belt in Ohio. You can see this right here. Usually you can throw a cat through those. Those are nice and solid. You pull up the carpet inside the Blazer. It looks like factory new, brand new paint. Everything's nice and solid. This thing actually, like I said, got hit in the ass in. Was a salvage title. And I put an engine transmission in it, took it up, and it passed. And while I was up in the lift, I got to look at it a little bit more than I did from the jack stands. And this thing's actually in really good shape as far as the body goes, minus some of the typical salt cancer up here. Back here behind the rear tires. So on. But it's worth saving. And even if it wasn't worth saving, it's mine. I got a lot of time and money invested into it. I'm going to do what I can with it anyway. So for right now, basically I need to lay out my plan of attack, which is going to be, first thing's got to go is get the transmission out. Once that is out, all this shit's getting disconnected, and this engine's coming out and going on a stand. It's getting at least bare minimum new oil pan, new gaskets. I'll probably pull the heads off and do some inspections just to make sure this thing is not on the verge of kicking the bucket. I might even go as far as putting a new cam in it, maybe even a set of pistons, because right now this thing has a set of 21cc forged dish pistons on a stock rod, stock crank, and a main girdle. All these LT1 guys talk about how they run 150 shot of nitrous every weekend for years on a stock block. I think some of them even said they did it without regapping the rings. And they said it's living. So I'm thinking with this engine with a main girdle, this 21cc forged dish pistons, I could probably throw some sauce at this thing and it would live. But who knows? I'm more of a naturally aspirated guy because A, I'm poor, and B, I'm still learning. Ain't nothing like going out and having some time and money invested in this thing just for it to blow up on you. So I might even go with a better set of pistons, because even right now with 21cc forged dish pistons, this thing's still over 9.5 to 1 static compression ratio. And it has about 165 cranking PSI, give or take 5 PSI per cylinder. It's actually really close. The guy that built this engine did a pretty good job. I'm happy with it. It made a lot of power for what it was. Be able to run a 13.3 with as dicked up as the combination was and the tune was. I can't really complain about that. There's a lot of guys who go out and spend a lot of money that don't go that fast or as fast. So, but this is the start of the journey. Draft shaft's about to come out. Transmission's going to be getting drained. And then we're going to go from there. Thinking transmission out, engine out. And then while the transmission's waiting to either get fixed, gone through, whatever, I'm going to get the engine back being healthy. And in my downtime, I'm going to be doing more on this piece of shit. I already got the trim pulled off on here, which none of these screws wanted to come out, front or back. I think the passenger side rear is the only one that I got all them out easy. So I'm going to be going through and pulling the rest of those screws out. I'm going to be pulling off this trim, all of it coming off, and then patching this rust holes and going from there. And this is all completely from an amateur's point of view. And I'm still learning. I know a lot of you guys know 20 times more than what I do, and I know a lot of you guys don't know a drop in the bucket. That's what's nice about this group. This is a group for everybody. So hopefully I can learn along the way. Some of you can learn along the way. I can teach some of you guys a few things that I know. Hopefully I can learn a lot from you guys. And by the end of this year, hopefully closer than as close as maybe like June, July, this will be done. I plan on coming out here every Saturday for at least an hour for filming purposes and doing a video, letting you guys see the progress we're making. And I'm going to be taking some input from you guys in the group. And we're going to go from there. Hopefully this thing turns out pretty decent. So thank you guys for watching my first video. Hopefully there's more to come. Feel free to like and subscribe to Shitbox Nation YouTube channel. And I really hope that you guys are having a good day. Feel free to put up your own videos like this, because hey, it's Shitbox Nation, anything goes. As long as it's not stock, slow, stupid, boring, whatever. I mean, this is pretty boring. Don't be any more boring than this. But yeah, like I said, everybody, feel free to pick it apart. Tell me I'm stupid, call me fat and ugly, or tell me you like it, tell me you don't like it, tell me what you want to change, what you don't want to change. Give me some input. Who knows? Maybe we'll learn something from each other, and that's what this group's all about. So, if you guys would, have a good night. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.